Good evening. We're back with more Lord of the Rings LCG, and tonight is Road to Rivendell on Nightmare difficulty. This is a re-record from the original video, which I was not happy with. So, let's get started, and this is not a terribly difficult quest. It's relatively relaxed. The ambush mechanic is not terribly threatening. It simply means you make an engagement check as soon as the card is revealed. In this case, 30 threat is higher than my 26, so this enemy does not engage. No Steward of Gondor to start. 2 Captain's Wisdom doesn't do any good. You can't use them both without 2 noble heroes. But we can make use of the resources a little bit. The Knight of the Swan and Forlong are going to get discarded. Can use very good tail here. So we're going to very good tail. Which finds 2 more Outlands guys. So no Warrior of Lossarnach, but otherwise the setup's pretty good. Phase 1's pretty uncomplicated of this quest, just need 20 progress. And we're gonna quest with everyone to avoid threat. So we get to choose, deal 1 damage to all allies in play, and this card gains Surge, or all enemies engaged with players make an immediate attack. We'll choose the all enemies engaged with players make an immediate attack, as there aren't any. That's a simple one to resolve. Got Steward of Gondor, that's good. And the potential to find another Outlands guy here. Yeah. Hunter of Lamedon. Could make a case for Forlong there with good harvest. But I opted not to do that. So now it's time to decide how much to quest for. Typically in this situation, if I'm not forced to move past phase 1, I'll just quest lightly, clear the board, and then move forward when I get 2 Ethir Swordsmen out or something like that. So this is a blank surge. No, it isn't. Orc enemies engage. He's still going to add his threat to staging thanks to the nightmare mode. And this card surges into a location. So we'll go ahead and move there. No threat, no progress. Denethor will take the attack. And I had to exhaust a character due to the Goblin Trapper engaging, which I think I forgot to do, but Anfalas, Herdsman, or Hunter of Lamedon had that covered. And we're on to the next round. We've got a Warrior of Lossarnach here, and I can take a look and see what I've discarded, which is Knight of the Swan and Forlong, but I have another Forlong in hand, so no sense in spending the resource to get him back. And I am going to be able to play everything, but I'll have to make use of Errand-rider's ability. So, pretty good setup. I'll quest at a leisurely rate just in case an enemy comes, but really we'll be looking to move on to phase 2 pretty quickly here. So this enemy is going to make his engagement a check, and he will engage me. right away. And forces me to discard my Steward of Gondor, which is sad. Gonna put the attack on Forlong for no damage. Well, for 1 damage. And then I have guys to take out the Orc Raider. Really just looking for an Ethir Swordsman. There it is. So now we can kind of move on and complete this quest at our leisure. Given the board state and the relatively easy nature of this quest, I would say a victory is very likely at this point. Though if there are cards from the encounter deck that punish allies, that could definitely affect the game. If there's a card that does 2 damage to all allies or multiple cards that do 1, and I think there is in this quest. But a quest for 15, so I make 12 additional. This enemy is going to ambush. And that will get us into phase 2. In phase 2, this is a nightmare version of phase 2. And it adds Goblin Gate to the staging area like usual. But in this case, Goblin Gate captures Arwen. And the phase 2A adds an additional enemy to the staging area as well. But with my board state, no problem. So we have to discard until we find another enemy and then reveal it. And it's going to be Orc Raiders, which will make its ambush check immediately engage. It would discard attachments if I had any to discard, which I don't. So Arwen's going to be captured by the Goblin Gate. And so we need to clear the Goblin Gate before we can make progress on the quest. Don't want the Uruk Elf Stalker to kill any characters because it will put 1 damage on Arwen. And Arwen only has 2 hit points. I think I have lost this quest on normal difficulty before because multiple cards which deal damage to allies came from the encounter deck and killed her. But we'll clear the board without too much difficulty. And next round, deal with the Goblin Gate and phase 2 likely in the same round. Especially now that the 3rd Ethir Swordsman has come. So, just going to quest for about 20 or so. 4 Outlands guys will do it. And the Goblin Gate. So once again, well, the Goblin Gate gives an enemy ambush, the first enemy, and it makes an immediate attack, but in this case the encounter deck got unlucky in that it's a 0 attack power enemy, which is kind of funny. Then the second card, the Surge card, gives the Crows another attack for 0 damage. And then the Crows get a 3rd attack in the turn due to a Shadow card. So that could have been quite devastating with a high attack power enemy, but unfortunately for the enemy, it was not a high attack power enemy. We are on to phase 3. Just need 13 progress. Reveal 1 card from the encounter deck, which is yet another attack from the Crows. I think they've attacked, 4 times already? So I guess the encounter deck could do some nasty things. Crows return to the staging area, but we're still in the questing phase, so I'm simply going to engage them again. And I think this is like the 5th attack from these crows in this turn. If that had been like a 4 or 5 attack power enemy, that could have been nasty. And we'll pretty easily make the progress needed to finish the quest here. So, you know, the encounter deck has the potential to do some nasty things, but you know, even so, I think even with its, if it had made 5 attacks with a 4 attack power character, I still would have been okay, given the board state that I had. Yeah. Anyway, thanks for watching.